This is a wild story. Gunman at large after UnitedHealthcare CEO fatally shot in brazen targeted attack, police say. The first thing I want to say on this is it's tragic, man. I don't know anything about this guy. Any story of death, I don't care who it is. These things are awful. War is bad. Even when bad guys die, I'm unhappy. Okay, but look, we here in this country, there are people who like to joke online about righteous retribution and the death penalty and all that stuff. And I think, okay, fine, I understand your anger when it comes to war, terror, conflict, crisis, evil people, but we should always look at death as a bad thing. And the reason I say that is, we're going to get into the story and everything, but the first thing I want to point out is that you've got liberals and leftists all across Blue Sky and on X cheering for and advocating for more of this, under the idea that the CEO himself is responsible for the death of people. And what really pisses me off is they're communists. Their worldview is, if I get sick and you don't help me, it's your fault. And I'm like, dude, if you get sick, I understand, like, if you pay for something and don't get it, you're being ripped off. But you getting sick at the fault of some business guy. There's institutions at play. So let me read the story for you, and they're going to break down what's hot here is, you've got Taylor Lorenz. I mean, she's plumb lost her mind, advocating for more murder on Blue Sky. Crazy. CNN says, UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson was shot and killed in Midtown Manhattan Wednesday morning in a brazen targeted attack as he walked toward the hotel hosting the company's annual investor conference. Shortly before 7 a.m., a gunman masked in the freezing temperatures was lying in wait before opening fire on Thompson outside the Hilton Midtown, according to NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch. Many people passed the suspect, but he appeared to wait for his intended target. I want to be clear, at this time, every indication that is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack. So the video in question, this is crazy. They have the video. I'm not going to play it, okay, because it actually shows a guy die. We're not going to do that. CNN's got it. You can watch it there. But the gunman's wearing a hood, a mask, a gray backpack, and he walks up with a suppressed pistol. I'm sure people who are watching it can identify what it is. Fires, chambers around, fires, chambers around. And at first, it was interesting because I'm not an expert on guns. The chat can correct me on this one. They said that the news reported the gun jammed and he kept having to clear it. A bunch of other people I see who were gun people on X were saying that's not the case. It's that he's using subsonic rounds to reduce noise, which don't have the power to pull the hammer back and chamber a round. So he's manually doing it. It's intentional because he's a hitman. So the speculation right now is one of two things. Big CEO. There was some scandal pertaining to a ransomware hack. They lost like $1 billion in this ransomware thing. Some people think it's related to that, and a hitman got called, and he made a move on this guy. Others think it may be related to any one of the millions of people who feel wronged by a loved one who was not given their proper medical treatment coverage and may have gotten ill or died or become crippled. So a lot of people are saying, I bet it was a dad whose daughter got sick and they denied coverage and then he got revenge. And I'm like, dude, this is a professional.
Well, the actual, like what you're saying about the way that the guy operated the firearm and stuff, it is likely that it was, if I understand correctly, the police report said that there were 9mm casings and a couple 9mm rounds. So that would lead me to believe that they were undercharged, so that subsonic. So you would have to rack it because it wouldn't have enough energy to actually work the action. The guy looks like he knows what he's doing. Whether or not he's actually been in, whether he's a professional hitman or just a guy that's familiar with firearms, I can't say. And I wouldn't make the assumption either way. But he definitely knows what he's doing. He's definitely very familiar with firearms. He knew exactly.
A lot of people are saying subsonic rounds don't have the power to cycle that kind of weapon.
That's why.
I have heard people say that the right suppressor could do it, but I don't know.
But the thing is, he knew.
At any rate, he had a bike like across the street, so it was all perfectly premeditated. And there's still a manhunt underway. So that's why I think it's important to discuss the story, especially because if you're in New York. However, very clearly, I think it was a hit. I'm seeing a lot of comments where they're like, dude, this guy's in Colombia already.
Well, I mean,
he got on his bike. He changed his clothes from the backpack, hopped in. His buddy was waiting around the corner. He got in a nondescript white sedan. They drove to probably, what's that?
Wait, did they say that he got into his sedan?
No. Okay. I'm saying this is what people are assuming.
Well, they know. Sorry. Go ahead. No, they know he got on a city bike, and someone that was just scraping the data constantly was able to track where he went, somewhere where there's no cameras, and
I thought it was Central Park.
We actually, I believe we have the tweet in question. So this guy, he's gonna be blocked, by the way. He says, I'm fairly confident of where the UnitedHealthcare assassin escaped to. He escaped on an electric city bike, according to police. I happen to continuously scrape city bike data every minute so I can see where the individual bikes go. The only northbound city bike, he says, the only northbound city bike to leave within 10 minutes of the shooting from any dock near the hotel went to Madison Avenue and 82nd Street. And then he mentions the bike number. And you can see that's where the assassination took place. It's right there. And then it rode up north. I don't know. Would he get to a train station or whatever? He goes on to point out more details here. Here's what's wild about it. Okay, so we get it. We get it. The responses from the left are advocating for this man's death. Because this guy said, police, hey, look, I found evidence that may lead you to this murderer. Leftists on X are calling him a snitch, threatening him with violence. Take a look at this. Natalie F. Danilician on X says Blue Sky is allowing threats of violence on its platform from none other than Taylor Lorenz. So a big story broke where Blue Cross Blue Shield will no longer cover anesthesia for the full length of certain surgeries in Connecticut, and she responded by posting the CEO of Blue Cross. Now, you may say, oh, well, maybe she wants to protest. No. She said, and people wonder why we want these executives dead. She actually said that. This is insane. This is what we have been fighting against for a decade. When we say the woke people are nuts, they're violent and they're dangerous, it's people like that. This should not be tolerated.
I think that it's going to be tolerated on Blue Sky.
No, I'm saying like, I agree. But I mean, like politically, we voted to shut this stuff down. We voted for Donald Trump to bring accountability, to say we're not going to tolerate a fringe far left extremist element in these spaces anymore. Now, to a certain degree, you have your free speech, but when you cross over into advocating for, or I should say being careful here, if you are directing or party to planning to commit harm and advocating for these things, there are varying degrees of repercussions that I believe you should face.
I mean, look, man, I think that the law is a valuable tool that we have in these United States, and I do believe that what Taylor is doing there could be construed as illegal. So I wouldn't have a problem with if the police gave a visit to Miss Taylor Lorenz for advocating harm to someone.
Saying that this is why I wish someone was dead is very different than advocating for someone's. Unfortunately, in this instance,
putting up her face.
Yeah. I mean, it's legal.
No. But I didn't. So here's the issue.
Disgusting.
She said she has there's a third post where she said people have very justified hatred towards these CEOs. I'm not going to read everything she said. She's nuts. She then says that she personally wants them dead, and then posts the image. So no, hold on. I'm not saying she's go to jail for it, but I'm saying there's a degree of repercussion you could face where it's like, I'm okay with banning people from social platforms who are doing things like this. Granted, she's on Blue Sky. Blue Sky will ban you for using the wrong pronouns, but they're going to allow her to do these things. That's nuts to me.
Taylor literally just yesterday banned me because I said she's a national treasure. She's a treasure. She blocked me because I took a post that she said on Blue Sky and I put it up and I was like, she's hilarious or something like that. Something innocuous, and she blocked me. But then the crazy woman goes and starts alluding to positive messages about harm to other people. She's a horrible person.
I honestly
horrible
wonder
person.
This is just her trying to be like a shock jock now, where she's kind of skidding out of relevance and knows that she wants to just tread the line of the First Amendment as much as she possibly can, just so we talk about her. She goes to the front of Blue Sky. People know about that.
Don't you think that she believes it, though? Don't you think? Because my sense is that she's actually a leftist, and leftists believe that people that make too much money are evil. Like, there's not a lot of debate about that. If you're dealing with the far left, they believe that you are a bad person for making too much money.
And I don't follow her too much, but isn't she the person that got, she doxed the other girl and then got very, very upset? People were coming, has the infamous crying. That's her, right?
She has done similar things to that, yeah.
So then I kind of feel like this would be the perfect thing. I'm not saying she's playing 5D chess necessarily, but what if she's out there just saying, let me say these astronomically insane things that are just terrible to her fellow human, then later on it's like, oh my God, when everybody calls me out, I'm the victim here. And it's just this new cycle that she gets where she becomes relevant again, producing absolutely nothing for the
again,
new cycle.
I can't see inside of her heart. I don't know what she intends, but it's my belief by reading past things that she said and knowing the left that at the very least she does think that rich people are bad. Like you are morally wrong if you make too much money. If you accept a position that makes too much money, that's a very common perspective on the far left. It's the whole reason for the communist revolutions all over the world, and those are as bloody as you can get. Right, the reason that communist revolutions happen is they believe that the bourgeoisie have stolen from the proletariat by having all the money that they have. And I don't ascribe to that worldview at all. I believe that the pie grows and some people get outsized portions of it, but when the whole pie grows, everyone benefits. So the more successful an economy is, the more benefits everyone that lives in that economy will enjoy. People that are on the left tend to believe that the pie is static. It doesn't get bigger. So the larger portions that other people are taking, the less fortunate have to scrape by on. And if that were the case, which again I don't agree with it, if that were the case, then it is actually reasonable to say those people are evil. Yeah. But I think that that's not the case, but I do believe that Taylor believes that she believes that it's okay to look at people that have a lot and say you've gotten that by taking from someone else.
So I'm going to give a shout out to Landman, that new Tyler Sheridan show. You guys got to watch it because it's great. I mean, Yellowstone was awesome, and it sucks Costner left. Because now the show's basically falling apart. They're just killing everybody. I'm not going to watch it. But Landman's got Billy Bob, and Billy Bob's great. I don't know about his politics or whatever, but the show's good. And there's this viral scene where he's talking to this presumably liberal woman, and they're looking at wind turbines. And he's like, you know how much oil it takes to make this effing thing? He's like, from all the diesel to haul it out here to 12 feet of concrete in the ground, and how much oil got to lubricate it, that thing won't offset its carbon footprint. He explains that they set up wind turbines to power the oil pumps. And she's like, they're using green energy to pump oil. And he's like, no, they're using alternative energy because there's no lines out here and they need electricity from somewhere. The reason I bring that up, the average person believes complete and utter BS. And we all know it. That's why we rag on the fake news all the time. So what's disconcerting to me is, I'll tell you, I don't know a lot about this guy. What I see with this guy, though, and the response from the left is they don't know what they're talking about. So they see a CEO and they blame him personally for why they got denied or what happened. For all we know, this guy recently got promoted a few years ago, and he was like, it's my dream to fix these stupid insurance companies that are screwing people over. For all they know, this guy's in that company banging his fist on the table, being like, stop denying these people. And they're like, you don't have the power. I'm going to be CEO. Mark my words. You have no idea. I doubt it. But there's a great scene also, shout out Game of Thrones, which kind of, they went off the rails there, where Daenerys Targaryen takes over a city of slavers, strings up all the oppressors, and then some guy comes in and says, my dad was fighting to end slavery and you killed him. That's what worries me, when these people are violent, dangerous lunatics and they target random people. This is why we have courts. Because the founding fathers were like, yo, we don't want mob justice because the mob is wrong. So you got to prove it to a jury of your peers and to the public why someone did something wrong. So I see this. Look, I get it. I talk about how the insurance companies are bringing us off, how I got ripped off, and it was this weird scenario where the bill was super high. You get it. You get it. But the idea that the left would celebrate mob murder is terrifying.
I'm with you, dude. I think I'm very concerned with for-profit medicine and giant corporations taking control of corporatocracy, but this ain't it. I want to believe that this guy did some behind-the-scenes malfeasance and this was a personal hit on this guy, that he messed up somebody's money and now he paid for it, as opposed to some angry father hiring a hitman or going rogue. I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter either way, but it's not something.
Where are you headed with it? What do you think? Dad? Mad Dad?
No, I think it's a professional thing, just the way they had the city bike waiting for him. The police can't figure him out when, like, isn't there cameras all around New York City? And then you have the what is it? It's a gun-free zone, guys. How come that didn't save him?
Not only that, but the suppressors are illegal in the state of New York as well.
So you're saying that hitman broke the law?
Whoa! They have broken the law.
Wow.
It is,
well, hold on.
Surprise, because New York's, you're supposed to not have guns in New York.
Yeah, I thought what happens is as soon as you drive across the bridge and you get to that barrier of where New York starts, the gun just freezes in midair and it can't and it's like up against the barrier, and you can't get in with
It's
it.
like a Harry Potter spell, gun-free zone. You can't bring it in there. And poof, it's gone.
Very close to magic.
Did you hear the story about how whoever is doing the trading for Pelosi, they had heavily invested in the company that is there to protect them from like cybersecurity threats?
No, what's that
heard that?
story? No.
I got to pull it up then.
You say the
Are
guy?
you talking about the ransomware side of this, or what?
Yeah, where the company that's going to protect them from the next attack got a huge investment from Pelosi or company.
Oh, wow.
Which, I mean, I don't know what that is inferring at all, but I mean, it's an interesting aspect.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I'm not sure that would speak to this, or it would have a context that makes it related to this. But I personally don't want to talk about motive or anything like that until there's more information that comes out. But if the guy, if homeboy split and he's in, Cartagena now, it's not.
It's some South American city, right?
Right? I mean, there might not be much more information that we ever get,
I guess it really comes down to if they catch him.
Exactly.
He's a super pro when he's going into Colombia or something.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.